Yo, what's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of AEW's Dynamite Review and Results. I'm your host, Davon. Appreciate you guys coming through for this lovely edition of the podcast as we keep everything all nitty gritty, everything so saucy in the land of professional wrestling. More importantly, it's Wednesday night for AEW Dynamite. And what more can you get out of it? It was a Friday night Dynamite instead. A little bit of Halloween, a little spookiness, a little everything under the sun. But more importantly, the storylines are still a little bit lackluster, but it's getting better during the weeks. But I'll need to see more of it when it comes to getting the fans involved and having them being a little bit more invested. I tried to watch Collision. Collision just wasn't unwatchable. But when it comes to Dynamite, Dynamite's the premiere show, which I keep tabs on when it comes to everything that goes on Wednesday night. More importantly, it kicked things off with Orange Cassidy with the Freshly Squeeze coming out. Of course, the fans were chanting Freshly Squeeze, and they were excited about him making his doorman entrance. He talked for 10 minutes about the leader because he isn't the leader. He had a whole lot to say during the course of his promo. He says his friend Chuck Taylor's neck is crushed, and also he talked about the remarks surrounding about the future of AEW. And they have no idea of the danger they are in. They have no idea how dangerous Jon Moxley is. So Cassidy knew then and there that he needed to do something and prove a point. He said if Moxley is on his way, there is no future of AEW. He doesn't need any AEW, but Orange Cassidy does. More importantly, Orange Cassidy, there's no Orange Cassidy without AEW. And there's no us to the point of the fans who make AEW feel alive. Cassidy knows what he needs to do, and he needs to cut the head off from the snake. And more importantly, he challenges Jon Moxley at Full Gear for the AEW World Championship. He takes the symbol of this company out of Moxley's bag and puts it in his backpack. More importantly, he won't be into the jollies himself. He's taking this a little bit more serious, and I'm enjoying the way how this promo delivered when it came to Orange Cassidy. But we shall see how things come out of this whole situation. I feel like it was a little bit laxist, but it was still calm, cool, and collective because it's Orange Cassidy. Him speaking on the mic a little bit more gave a little bit more in-depth of who he is as a character. But also you got the other pillars. You got Jack Perry, you have Darby Allin, you got MJF. I wonder where they stand on the lines when it comes to AEW. Backstage, we get Renee Paquette, who's talking with Mercedes Moné about Camille's match against Chris Statlander later on that evening. The Jumbo champion runs down Statlander and ensures the Brickhouse will pick up the victory before the pair leave. Back at the ringside, Adam Cole makes his way out. Of course, the fans ended up popping for Adam Cole, who makes his entrance to get things underway as he's looking to score 3 straight victories. And the next person he's looking to line up on is Buddy Matthews. This match was great for what it was. A lot of back and forth, great technical wrestling under the sun for everything you could have got for. From suplexes to neck breakers, Adam Cole was back into full form when he performed against Buddy Matthews. They have great chemistry. They kept us highly invested. More importantly, I enjoyed every aspect of the singles match. The fans were chanting this was awesome. And, of course, things broke down as we see MJF watching on from elsewhere as Cole connects with the Panama Sunrise in the corner. And then, of course, he was able to secure the victory with the pinfall by hitting the boom for the pinfall on Buddy Matthews. Post-match is where things got more intriguing and interesting afterwards, as we ended up having Malachi Black coming down. They had a little moment as Kyle O'Reilly is standing backstage watching, and Cole cuts his own celebration short by grabbing the mic. Buddy tells him he thanks him for reminding him he'd like to thank Buddy Matthews for remind him who he was. And this leads to a handshake between the two gentlemen, only for the lights to get cut off, and then Malachi Black makes his appearance. They shake hands with each other, and Cole leaves the ring with some help from Samson, who helps to the ramp as Malachi and Buddy Matthews looked on after a hard-fought battle of two heavyweights that carried the AEW banner in a great light when it came to technical wrestling. Backstage, we got Chris Daniels, who's talking to Private Party about their tag team title shot match tonight. He acknowledged that he and his partner, Frankie Zedden, were in a similar situation 3 years ago and is nervous about the Bucks were due to split another tag team up. Private Party promises that the history will not repeat itself tonight and that they will be the new champions. Then we switch things up and it goes into a commercial break. Adam Cole is being checked out backstage as he addresses MJF and what led to his betrayal last year. Cole talked about how much he cares for AEW and what it means to him. Cena Max has never been a part of the team. And Adam promised that he will get his hands on him at Full Gear, setting up the match. Maybe the Undisputed Kingdom as a whole will 1, 2 to go. And at ringside, Kyle Fletcher, and then pretty much they switch things up and it goes to ringside for an in-ring segment about after everything broke down with Adam Cole. We end up having Kyle Fletcher and Don Callis, the Don Callis family, steps into the stage and the crowd is booing him immediately. They try to drown out the voices of Callis as he says that Kyle Fletcher has something important to say when it comes to everything that happened. Kyle grabs the mic and says that he is here to call out Will Ospreay. He introduces the aerial assassin, but seems Ospreay isn't there. Kyle starts to run him down, including when the United Empire music hits, revealing the upset Mark Davis stepping out with the microphone on his hip on. And Kyle says he wasn't expecting to see Davis, but it's nice to see him. Only for Davis to refuse to hug him, who is his original partner. Davis speaks up and running Kyle down for calling someone out of that is beat up, battered, and bruised. Kyle says while Mark was away, he opened his eyes and then who Will Ospreay really is. More importantly, he will surely forget what Davis is. But Fletcher never did. He knew the day would come, and so he made sure that there was a spot for him in the family. Mark scuffles off and says that he's had an empire before walking away, before Fletcher tells him he is not afraid to cut the past loose. It was an interesting promo. It was solid. It delivered impactful moments. But more importantly, it was great to see Mark Davis finally back in the ring after being injured for a good little while, and he made his initial return back to the AEW roster. Renee Pack, she's working overtime again. She's talking to Hangman Adam Page, who addresses Jay White comments as of late. More importantly, he says that he talked about White being knocked out of the Owen Hart tournament this past summer. Page began responsible for putting him out of action for 3 months. He said despite the record between them, Page will look to take Jay down and stand over him, who is hurt and have less than what he had before they faced off. Ooh, that's tough. It's going to be interesting between those two, but I look forward to seeing the presentation of how they collide. Jay White is now officially a face, but we'll see how this run does. I prefer Jay White being a heel, but he could do some great stuff if he can get over with the crowd the way how the Bang Bang Gang has been doing lately. But it's going to be intriguing to see how they do on this face run. Backstage, we got the BCC making their presence, or the newly formed new name, the Death Riders, heading down the hallway with a possible dangerous intent as they go to a commercial break. John Moxley music hits. The Death Riders make the way towards the ringside, despite the action We get a smither of cheers from the crowd, back and forth, mixed reaction more so. As they get the mixed reaction, Moxley gets on the mic and he says he knows Cassie and the rest can't appreciate what they have been trying to do. More importantly, one day they'll understand. And Moxley says people think Orange Cassidy challenging for the AEW World Championship, but he challenged Cassidy when he destroyed Chuck Taylor. He cut him off the distractions so Cassidy could focus on his goals. They enter the room and told everyone to show him the leader, and everyone in the room pointed to Orange Cassidy. Cassidy says he's not a leader, but that's not the Orange Cassidy he knows. He will keep pushing him as necessary, and that he wants to face Moxley when he can, but he'll fight not onto being on the mountaintop, but in the valley. Cassidy thinks that he's the one pulling the strings, but he will put that to the test as Pac and Shafir grab Willa Yuta. They drop him to his knees on the mat, and Claudio grabs a chair from the ringside. Handed it to Mox before Moxley runs down to make Cassidy makes a save before they about to stomp the chair across Willa Yuta's neck, but it appears to be a ruse as the Death Riders turn the tables and put the beat down to Orange Cassidy, including the stumps from Willie himself before Dark Order runs down, which we haven't seen in a while on AEW television, to even the numbers. The chaos spills out to the ring as Dark Order neutralized before the BCC. Attention on Orange Cassidy once again. They wrap a chair around the neck of Cassidy as Claudio backs up to do some damage, but Darby Allin comes directly out, which I figured he was going to be one of the major pillars coming from the rafters. He intercepts Claudio, and he gives the heroes welcome to fight them back off. The Death Riders quickly back on to the offense until Top Flight runs to the assistance, and then followed by Daniel Garcia and Private Party. As Cassidy casts Mox with an orange punch to knock him directly down. Private Party takes down Willa Yuta, but he escapes the ring, and then the Death Riders escape as the faces were standing tall, chanting with the crowd. The Young Bucks make their entrance and focus on dividing between a stare down between the Bucks and Private Party, and the departure of the Death Riders before the tag team championships make their way to the ring. But we have a ref in the ring, which seems to indicate that the tag team championship was going to be next on the line. So we got that match underway as we had Nicholas and Matthew Jackson taking on, of course, Mark Quinn and Zay. There's everything you could have asked for, a lot of back and forth, great transitions when it came to the tag team wrestling. They missed no beat. Everybody was involved. The fans were chanting, "This is awesome." We had a couple pictures in between of the match. Great 450 splash when it came to the Bucks doing that stereo setup tag team. I enjoyed a lot of that went down. A lot of callbacks from the previous matches, including the roll-up pin from Mark Quinn that initially got them the victories to get the shot. The Bucks even went for the EDB trigger, but things got picked up. Went for attempt for the TK driver, but the Private Party countered everything, hit that gin and juice, and Private Party secured the victory, become the World Tag Team Champions. More importantly, it looked like it was an injury sustained to Nicholas Jackson. Looked like he was holding his shoulder or somewhat. So maybe, hopefully, something hopefully to his shoulder. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. But we shall see what happens in the long run. And they're bounced back. But they have been helping the tag team division now again. After a lot of people have been saying they've been running it down after the whole fiasco that happened over this past summer and last year. But things were looking good. I'll give it a thumbs up to this. I'll give this maybe a 4.2 out of 5 stars. The tag team match truly did deliver. It gave us everything that we really wanted in a tag team match. And it was great. I'll give my props to the Private Party. Congratulations on becoming the new tag team champions. The Young Bucks now got to pick up the pieces and see where they're going to go with this whole war breaking out. I know they killed the storyline of them taking over the world. But now the Death Riders are the ones or controlling everything, being the true piranhas, controlling the land. Most likely going for more titles pretty soon. We get a graphic promo of the AEW World Title match set full gear before a backstage face between Jamie Hayter and Penelope Ford. Ford runs down Hayter but promises to mop the floor with her when they face off next week on Dynamite as is official. Then we get ready for the main event, the tail of the tape of Swerve Strickland facing off against the Prodigy, the gold standard 100% Sheldon Benjamin, the true legend in this business. They highlighted it and they led us to the match with a couple of great things that initially took place. And things were looking good as we end up getting a video package. Looking forward to last week's ladder war for the Ring of Honor World Championship. We go to ringside where we see the Learning Tree. They're hanging out at a Hallows Eve before Jericho hypes himself about winning the Ring of Honor World Championship. He couldn't have done this without everyone, including the fans there. And Cincinnati, which means for not Cincinnati, but he kind of shortened the name of Cleveland. He called it Chinche. He talks about the film he stars in becoming the number one movie, which is, if you're not familiar with that, he's in a lovely horror movie. It was kind of intriguing to see Jericho actually playing a part and being killed off, but at the same time, he did his job. He talks about the success he has seen, and then because he's Chris Jericho, he can do a lot of things. And says the fans can sit back and enjoy the ride. And he says, "Thanks, guys." We cut backstage where we get Daniel Garcia confronting Jack Perry for the Elite's lack of help against the Death Riders. Before Perry enters the locker room of the group, we see the Bucks and Okada shredding documents like they're Enron, which is kind of funny, kind of a little callback to that. We head to the ringside where we get ready for the women's action. As we have Mercedes Moné accompanying Camille for the next match against Chris Statlander, which Chris Statlander was able to get the victory. I was surprised on that. I thought they was going to go the other direction to kind of screw her over. But Statlander was able to pick up the Wednesday on a lovely Wednesday. Her celebration was short-lived as Mercedes Moné binds Statlander and Camille demanded to go back before they said, if you want something done, you have to do it yourself. She stands over Statlander with her titles, and she raises them as they cut away from that actual situation. We get a video package of Christian Cage, Cape Saban, and Hook. Before hearing the Cage backstage, who promised he would explain himself. This is a following reminder of the main event coming up next. Of course, they broke that down with the whole situation. Then they got the reminder of the next following main event coming up. A little bit more of a backstage segment. We got Mark Briscoe after losing the Ring of Honor World Championship last week. Briscoe says, the words of the day is instability. Since Jericho seems to not care about his health, especially for bringing up his brother's name once again, something you don't want to do. Briscoe challenged the Learn Tree to a trios match against the Commemoration, while Cal suggested it should be a fight without honor next week on Dynamite. Then we cut to the Elite as they decide to get the heck out of there, dodge, so to speak, making their way out. Alex Marvez and Christopher Daniels are there as they drive off. We see Brandon Cutler, who's left behind, trying to still carry equipment and stuffy things, but then he runs into the Death Riders. Daniels tries to intervene, but then to no avail. Claudio seems to break the finger of Cutler after John Moxley held Christopher Daniels, and he smashed it and with a hammer. Moxley asks Daniels where his boys are going, and things are just getting good. Before the Death Riders make their exit, Daniels calls for help for Cutler as they cut away to get things ready for the main event. But we cut to backstage. We got Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana making their way for the main event. To get things underway, Shelton Benjamin makes his way up the amp, accompanied by MVP. What more can you got this match? This pair match was great. Everybody was chanting, "This is awesome," before the match even started. A lot of back and forth. The chemistry was on par. I enjoyed everything about this match. There was a lot of back and forth. They really delivered. The Gold Standard did his thing 100%. There was a couple commercial breaks under the sun after everything that had initially broke down. But of course, the last call was able to seal the deal on Benjamin for the 1, 2, 3. Things broke down afterwards as MVP got on the phone to make a phone call. Strickland was celebrating, and the President and I was excited. The lights briefly cut off and then come back on. The fans were kind of confused. Swerve was confused as well. The lights goes out again, signal the rival of the almighty Bobby Lashley. He comes out of the ramp with the spotlight directly on him as he loves to embrace. He tried to do his signature setup, but the fireworks didn't go off. And he comes face to face with Swerve Strickland. And the fans were chanting, "This is awesome." With a distracted Shelton Benjamin leading to Lashley blindsiding Swerve Strickland with a clothesline. 3, MVP even put the beat down to Prince Nana with the cane and choking him down. Then after a couple of beat down, security come down. They put the beat down to them as well. Bobby Lashley puts the Hurt Lock directly on Swerve Strickland to make him pass out. They stand victorious, and the cue of MVP says, he grabs a mic and says, "We're back in business." And the show comes to an end, to conclusion, as the Hurt Syndicate are officially around, and they're looking to handle business 100%. They left nothing unturned, and it's going to be good. Full gear. Bobby Lashley versus Swerve Strickland. This will be a chef's kiss match. I highly recommend for you guys to check it out 100%. That's a match you can't miss. And it's going to be good. 100. I'd say it's going to be a 5-star. It's going to be muscle versus speed. And we're going to see who is the dangerous and who can hold their own in a square circle. But my own personal advice, opinion, AEW needs to step it up. I need to see more from them to get us more invested. I've been talking to a couple of colleagues of mine, and they feel the same way, that the storyline is lackluster. Something that's grabbing us. Go back to the old days of the hype of year one, but a refresher, like a reboot, a rebrand. We shall see how things pick up on Tony Khan's end of things, but hopefully it becomes more intriguing as the weeks continue to push on. I'd like to know from you guys' personal opinion how you feel about everything. Chime down in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. And if you made it to this end of this video, hit that notification bell, turn that bad boy on, and I'll catch you guys on to the next one. Until then, you guys stay safe. Happy Halloween tomorrow, and y'all be safe. Peace.